Hi, this is Elisa with the Rebel Crone, and today I want to talk about timelines. It's a topic that really seems to be up right now. There's a lot of interesting information coming through that wasn't available years ago. Well, I remember, many years ago when I first became aware of the possibility of multiple timelines. I mean, it was mind-blowing at the time and very fascinating. And at that point, it was really about, for every choice you have in life, you have an A, you have a B. If you choose the A, well, there you're going to go down and perceive that A. But there's another part of you, it's almost like a shadow part of you, then does shadow, not as far as like light and dark shadow, but shadow that it's not as much in form, that it's maybe a little more ephemeral. Part of you will be going down the B pathway and experiencing what that meant had you chosen that. So it's kind of mind-blowing to think, oh my gosh, throughout my life, how many decisions do I make in even just one day? And I'm going down here and I could have gone there, but yet now there's a part of me that's going to experience that. And, just really interesting concept to entertain. Well, nowadays it's expanded quite a bit about what timelines could actually be. And some of the newer theories on it is that timelines are all happening at once, like all the possibilities, all the permutations of what your life could look like have all been created. They were all created out of time and space. So that means they all exist in the eternal now. They're all there like a massive library of you that just goes on and on and on and deep and long and full of shelves of books, and every book is like a possibility of the life you could live as you. Really fascinating. And once again, mind-blowing, mind-expanding, maybe mind-bending. Well, what I want to look at today is I want to offer a way of looking at it that might take some of the mystery out of it. Because as always, concepts are one thing, but when we can understand how to apply them in our life and how the reality of them may actually be working, that it empowers us. It no longer is a concept, but it starts to come in as knowledge. We can apply it, and then we can harness the wisdom in it, and it becomes ours. So join me. I'm going to pull out my whiteboard and we're going to do a little mini class, a mini presentation on how I've been looking at timelines lately, and it's been very helpful for me. So I want to share it with you. To look at a practical application on how timelines can affect you and how you can affect them, let's start by remembering that everything is frequency. Everything has a unique energetic signature, and that includes you. Who you are vibrates in a certain way that nothing and nobody else in this world as ever will ever vibrate exactly like you. You have a very unique signature. And what I propose is all the various timelines and possibilities of you as being the person that you are incarnate as right now, that all of that comes within a certain bandwidth of that frequency of you. All the different possibilities, all the different timelines, all the different trajectories, whether there's hundreds or millions or billions or trillions of them, I don't know, but I do know that every single one of them has a unique signature. Many teachers nowadays will use the analogy for timelines as a radio, and each of the different stations is tuned in to a different timeline and a different possibility. And I think that's a perfect way to start. Now, it is simplistic, but it gives us something to actually start wrapping our heads around, which is the important thing to do, right? Take it out of concept and make it something that's practical and something that you can work with in your life. So right here, I did a little drawing of a radio and all the different knobs here that are going to tune into different frequency, different stations, i.e. different aspects, different timelines of you. So each one, down here I have 80.5, and that's going to have a frequency. The next one up is going to have another frequency, and so forth. And there's 96.4. Each one of those is a different life possibility that you are currently, or one of you is currently experiencing. Okay, so let's also now look at the whole thing of vibrations and the how fast they're vibrating as a level of how aware or how advanced that life is. Okay, so down here we have a lower vibrations, right? So we're going to have like this big lower, maybe chaotic wave of a vibration. As we go up in frequency, it's vibrating faster and faster. Sorry, this might be a little hard to see. The light in here is challenging. And it keeps going up in different vibrations. And we're getting up to now, we're at 105.9 and onward. And all of a sudden, these start smoothing out because they're a higher vibration. So let's just take it, for instance, just your life right now. All right, let's say you're vibrating like you're no longer at this lower chaotic level. And you've kind of moved up to this maybe mid or higher level where things are mostly smooth, you're mostly awake, you kind of fall back sometimes into the dream state and into, I should say, the asleep state, because we are all in the dream state, right? You fall back into the asleep state. So if we consider that all these different lifetimes, and this is just a small sample, if we look at the theory of timelines, there's all these possibilities right now that you can choose from. There's all these different potential frequencies that you could live in. Don't we want to start choosing some of these higher frequencies, right? We want to jump, if we're going to jump a timeline, I certainly want to jump to a higher frequency of vibration, one that is more peaceful, is more centered, is more harmonious with who I really am. So how do we do that? This is where it gets really practical. If you think about this chart and you think about the frequencies of all the timeline possibilities you have to choose from right now, how do you get to one of those? Well, you change your vibration, right? You're waking up. You start changing your vibration. I'm not going to let the things of the world disrupt me anymore. I'm not going to let, people, places, things, all this stuff, politics, climate, all this stuff, disrupt my inner being. I'm going to stay focused on being in my power, being in love, being in truth. My frequency, ooh, boy, I'm vibrating faster and faster. And then I can slot into all of a sudden, oh man, I'm vibrating here. My life is going to look this. And within this vibration that you just moved up to, this is a whole life in here. This is a life. This is a time in the timeline of you. This is a life that you can then live. And it's going to look very different from the life here or the choices. Let's say if you decide to get really angry and upset and you let something really rule your life, injustices that have been done to you, your vibration's going to drop, and then you're going to drop into one of these places of anger and fear, and you're going to slip into this timeline, a timeline down here. And in that timeline, you're going to be vibrating where fear and confrontation and all the negative energies that are akin to this, that are like that, they all exist down here. And that's going to be in the timeline, i.e. the life that you're living because you've lowered your vibration. So that's the life choice right there. I'm going to keep resenting. I'm going to keep being angry for things. I'm going to keep all them digging in because I'm pissed off. I was wrongly done by blah, 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 whatever that is. Your excuses of being a victim. Well, you're dropping down and then you're going to live this life. You will be living in one of these lives, and these lives are going to be vibrating that level, and you're going to be surrounded with that. Suddenly you're going to look at your world around you, you're going to see everything that's wrong, and people are going to mistreat you. They're going to continue to mistreat you. How do I break this cycle of abuse? How do I break this cycle of nobody seeing me, nobody acknowledging me? How do I break this cycle of no one loving me and whatever it is? How do I break that cycle? You're not going to break it by living in this lifetime, this timeline of you. The way you're going to break it is you're going to shift your vibration and shift it consistently. Take some time, right? I think sometimes we'll have maybe a great meditation or something happens and we really feel loved and all that. It's like, oh, boom, we pop up into one of these higher ones and we get a little glimpse of what that feels like. And we're like, ooh, that's really nice. I love that. But then we lower our vibration, we drop back into those patterns. Another way of looking at it is that this vibration thing is our patterns. We drop back into it and up. Our world sucks again. Everything around us, it all sucks. Life sucks. Blah, 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 blah. I'm victimized by all this. But what happens, you got a glimpse into this other one. So, oh, I want to live there more and more. So you start making the choices. You get out of victimhood. You start getting into, being the warrior of your life, the internal warrior, fighting the good battle within, not letting the things out there dictate how you're going to feel and your perspective and how you're going to behave, think and behave and feel. So you're not going to let that affect you. And as you start developing that inner strength, you start moving through these different possibilities, these different timelines that are attached. These frequencies, timelines are attached to a whole world of one of which you can live in. You have a lot of choices in every now. Where do I want to vibrate? What world do I want to be surrounded in? So the higher up you go here on frequencies, the faster, finer frequencies, everything, that world, that in that bandwidth, you're going to attract like things. You're going to attract the finer, the higher vibratory things. Suddenly you're going to look around your world and you're just like, oh my gosh, these good things are coming to me. Why? Because you're vibrating in that frequency. It's that easy. I know, like, as I'm explaining this, you're like, duh. Yeah, but how often do we remember this through the course of our life? How have we actually correlated this into very specific timelines, very specific life choices that have the consequence of the world you're living in, the actual new life that you can live? All these lives are available to you. Nothing is out of your range. You have free will and choice. So you can choose to drop into an emotional state, a heart state. Your mind will follow and you'll come up with all these reasons why to stay in a low vibration. Or you can choose, I'm going to transcend this. I'm going to raise my vibration. I'm going to develop those muscles by working them every single day. And I'm going to vibrate higher and higher. And you know what? You slip into new timelines as you do that. New timelines and new worlds, whole worlds attached to them. That's why when you hear people talking about on YouTube, there's all kinds of buzz about this. But you'll hear talk about you can be in a room with all kinds of different people and everybody can be experiencing being living in a different world, yet you're in the same room together. But your worlds are vastly different. And they're vastly different because you're vibrating at different levels and different worlds, different timelines are available to you as opposed to what's available to the other person. So when you are around people that are vibrating higher, that's something to be attracted to, right? That's something to form those friendships, get to know those people, surround yourself with those people. That can raise you up into a whole different place of being, as opposed to, trying to overcome these places of being pissed off and victimized instead of looking for other people that are victimized and there's more excuses to stay in a lower vibratory range. Well, great, you get to stay in a lower vibratory range and you'll get to experience that for however long you need to experience it until you say, basta, enough, I'm out of there. And you start doing that inner work. You start changing your vibration consistently over time and you start going up these different levels of frequency. And you start to enjoy and being privy to the worlds that are attached to them, the timeline of who you are that's attached to each of those frequencies. It's that easy, everybody. It's that easy to shift a timeline and to shift into the ones that you want. All you have to do is change your vibration consistently. Now, I say like that is easy, easy. That's the challenges, right? That's the lessons we're learning in this life. That's what we're honing, are the internal divine muscles, the divine muscles that connect to the divine, to the invisible high frequency realms. The more we let those in, the more we harmonize with it, the more we're drawn up on the vibrational ladder to the higher frequencies, and the more then we get to enjoy heaven on earth, right? It's right here, it's right now. You can live in a prison planet, or you can live in heaven on earth and all the permutations in between. It's all right there. It's all a matter of perspective, and perspective is dependent on, or I say is reflective of the level in which you're vibrating. That can change. You are a sovereign being. You have the right, you have free will to change your vibration. So that's my invitation to you today. This is the reminder for you. And maybe I brought things together in a way that you haven't seen it. You haven't been able to quite correlate what all this timeline talk about and all these different, ideas about how it's all happening right now and how do I access those. And I hope I made it really very simple how you access the different timelines of you through frequency and frequency changes. That's it, all right? I think that's really practical. I don't know about you, but when that came into my consciousness, I'm like, wow, I get it. I can do this. This is how I change my world. This is how I turn the dial up in my life. 'Cause I don't know about you, but I want heaven on earth for me, and it's available for me right now. It's available today and right in this moment, and that's what I want to choose. And that's what I want to consistently choose and keep waking up to when my vibration falls, when the challenges come in. Nope, wake up. How quick can you wake up? I think that's the big challenge right now is how quick can we wake up and just, as opposed to going to sleep, how quickly can we turn that dial back up and go, oh yeah, this is what I choose. This is where I am. This is what I want. Anyways, I hope it's helpful. Please leave me a comment. Let me know. Be sure to like the Rebel Crone and thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't. And I look forward to discussing more things with you and interacting and finding out how you work with timelines. How do you work with the shifting and the movements within your life? Love to hear your perspective. Well, everybody, that's it. Thank you so much. This is the Rebel Crone signing out. Peace from within. Always.